Hi everyone, I hope you're having a great start to the school year. I mentioned that we would have fewer update meetings this year, but I did find that we still have information I have to get out to you, so I thought we'd try it this way. So for this month, we're going to try this. Please let me know if you like this approach or if you'd rather meet face-to-face. So the first update for you is a little bit late in getting out to you. I apologize for that. I recorded this twice and forgot to turn the microphone on both times. So sorry this got out a little bit late. But we are having our first informational meeting about the new special ed licensure cohort meeting, and the meeting will be September 23rd. But if you have anyone else that you know that might be interested in this, please send them my way. It's not too late. The additional information for you is remember that all special education files should have been moved on to the new school building or case manager. I've heard that some people got the red classification file, but not the historical records that go with that. All records should be moved on. Let's say you service 6th grade in one building and 7th grade is in another building. All of the 6th grade records, students that would be in 7th grade this year, maybe they've moved or discontinued services, those records should be moved on to the new building. So if you haven't done that, please do that quickly. A reminder that starting on July 1st, we have to have somebody licensed in autism spectrum disorder or the new academic behavioral strategist license. Somebody with one of those licenses has to be on the team for all students with autism spectrum during this coming school year. So we still need a few more people licensed in autism spectrum disorder. If you are interested, but there's something kind of getting in your way, maybe you're nervous that you don't want to get that license because you might end up with all of the students with autism, or something else that might be getting in your way, but you are interested, please let me know and we can talk through that. The special ed licensure cohort would be a good route where you could certainly add the ASD license and or get a master's degree. So consider that and let me know if you are interested. In your handouts, there was a handout about bullying. This is a message to all of you that I ask that you do take a few minutes to read. But essentially, the new bullying bill really puts the onus on school districts and the IEP team that if a student is susceptible to bullying, that this should be addressed in the IEP. For example, think about those students with low cognitive skills or even autism that may not recognize what bullying is. It would be important that we might want to do some training for students. I've already seen some teachers do some training on what is bullying with students, and that's great to see. Or we may need to have some kind of protections in place to help support so that we are preventing that student from being bullied in the meantime until we can get them those skills. If you are looking for some resources on how to teach students about bullying, there is a curriculum called the Safe Boundaries curriculum. I've mentioned this in the past. We have a copy available in the Southern Plains office to check out if you're interested. You can see here course 2 specifically addresses that, but there's a lot of information throughout the Safe Boundaries curriculum that is really helpful related to this topic. In the attachments are the new procedural safeguards. Sorry, these came out in August and I didn't catch that. They are available on the MDE website. They're also available on our site, and they will be available on SPED forms in the next month or two when they do their new update. Some people have asked if they've gone to the MDE website, they'll see there's an annotated and a non-annotated version. We use the non-annotated. The annotated just adds the statutes or regulations where that clause comes from. So it's kind of interesting, but it adds to the length of the procedural safeguards, and so we use the shorter version. Also, there used to be a version on SPED forms for parochial school students. MDE did not like that we had a separate version for parochial school students, so that has been removed, and we are using the same version for all students ages 3 to 21, and then in your handouts there's also a version for birth to 3 students. During CPI trainings and a couple of other meetings recently, I've had some common concerns mentioned by paraprofessionals. First of all is the concern that often paraprofessionals are not notified when there are schedule changes, such as maybe the class is going to be going on a field trip, like across town or something that way, or there'll be a lyceum or other schedule changes that impact student behavior. If the paraprofessional does not know that, they can't prepare the student, and they aren't making the adjustments needed to help students be successful. So this is a great time of year to reach out to teachers and give them a reminder that they need to communicate with paraprofessionals that are working in their room. Even if they have multiple paraprofessionals, we need to find a way to get that information to all of them. Also, it's very alarming to me when paraprofessionals say they don't have access to behavior plans and IEPs. They absolutely have to have access to that information. So please find a way for them to access that. Some people will keep a binder in their room, or maybe there's a district in the building. There's a box with all of those in them, or sometimes copies are given to paraprofessionals. That is okay as long as they treat it confidentially. But they should have access to that information. Also, we get a lot of comments that paraprofessionals are told they can't put their hands on students at all. Now, that's not always true. Certainly, if there's a kindergartner and you might take a student's hand and walk them down the hallway, or place a hand on a student's back or something that way to help guide them. There is a difference between a guide and a restraint. If you have specific concerns and want to talk through it, be sure to talk to your CPI trainers or Stephanie Schmitz, and they can help you with that. But let's not send the message that they absolutely can't touch students at all, because there are times that it is appropriate. A reminder that October 1st is scary enough, just right around the corner next week. So there are the regular reports that need to be turned into Marcia Malo, the combined report for any students you case manage, the workload analysis for any students you work with, your schedule, as well as a copy of the paraprofessional schedules for any of the paras you work with. Please be sure to get those turned in. We haven't had great luck at getting the paraprofessional schedules turned in, and that is going to be vital. We will track you down, and I would really rather not have to have Marcia track you down, so please get that turned in. Thank you. I wanted to point out some things on the Southern Plains website, particularly in the new teacher training section. So here is our website. Under learning opportunities, here you'll see new teacher training. Now, Lisa is going to add each month throughout the year, she will add any additional handouts that are added. These are the handouts, Tool of the Week and the Dating Game are the handouts that were used in September, but she will be adding additional ones along the way. So it's a great opportunity to go check that out and look what kinds of things are out there. They are useful tools. Remember that we discussed Infinitec Tech at the fall in-service, and that doesn't seem to be working right at the moment because I'm clicking too fast. And then here's where all the update meetings are and other resources. Oh, there it is. Here's the link to Infinitec. All right, let's go back to PowerPoint. Okay, if you do not work with students that deal with state testing, you can tune out. You are done at this point, and thank you very much. If you work with students grades 3 and above, you do need to listen into the rest of this because there are a number of changes with state testing. You can see here, this is a chart of when each of the different tests are given. The MCA tests are the same. They will be continued and are given in any years where the red diagonals are. The MCA modified is gone. The MTAS does still exist for any of these students. You do need to still meet the same criteria for the students that take the MTAS. Remember that one of the big criteria is that the student must have low cognitive skills. The MCA is now required that all school districts will give all of these assessments online. However, a paper test is an accommodation that can be determined by an IEP team. So there may still be students that you want to do that, but that would have to be written on the IEP and determined by the IEP team. Just a reminder for ELL students, if you have any of those, work with your ELL teacher to see if they are going to be taking the access and if any changes need to be made for that. The Explore and the Plan are given in 8th or 10th grade, and one's in 8th and one's in 10th. They have previously been voluntary for school districts. Now all students in all school districts must take the Explore and the Plan assessment. If a student takes the MTAS, then they are exempt from the Explore and Plan. But if a student does not take the MTAS, you should expect that they should participate in the Explore and Plan. The Compass assessment is an assessment that is determined by MDE who will take it. It's based on MCA scores and Explore and Plan scores. Then MDE will determine and make a list of who will participate in the Compass. And if a student is determined in 10th grade that they need to take the Compass, they must take the Compass test in order to graduate. If they are determined they need to take the Compass assessment in 11th grade, the student does not have to take the Compass in order to graduate. Another new assessment this year is the ACT. The ACT is required for all 11th grade students. If a student does take the MTAS, they are exempt from taking the ACT. The ACT is going to be given on April 28th for all juniors, but if accommodations are needed, the test window for that would be like extended time. The test window is between April 28th and May 12th. Now for having accommodations on the ACT, it's a lot different process than you've dealt with in the past. You have to be sure to work with your district assessment coordinator. Right now they're busy trying to get registered to give school day administration site for the ACT, but that should be done here by the end of the month. And then in October, the DAC will be able to help you apply for the accommodations for the ACT. You want to do these accommodations early because sometimes they will ask for additional information from you and to determine whether or not a student qualifies for the ACT accommodations. ACT determines whether or not students are given the ACT accommodations. However, there's an alternate route for accommodations called the Minnesota accommodations. I was at a meeting with the Minnesota Department of Ed last week, and the head of the testing department at that time did not know yet what the process would be to apply for Minnesota accommodations. They said they would be in touch with your district assessment coordinators, and you should be communicating with them along the way. I did include a link for you to the ACT accommodations page. So if you have questions on that, you can check it out. I don't, unfortunately, have a lot more information than that, but we'll let you know if I hear anything, and your district assessment coordinator will certainly be updated along the way. All right, that is all I have at this time. I hope you're having a great start to the year. Take care.